If there is one piece of advice that you actually listen to from these videos, this is it. Starting off with printing a rear fender extension, PETG on a Bambu A1 orientation, and settings advice needed. No. 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 Please don't do this. And if you're gonna do this, don't use PETG. FDM parts are not isotropic. They are anisotropic. They are not equal in strength in all dimensions, and that means they are really not suitable for roadworthy vehicles. If you want to do like a thing to hold your wiper hose in place, or something like that, fine. But a fender extension, if that comes off when you're doing, let's say, exactly the speed limit and hits somebody else, whether it's a car, pedestrian, whatever, that's a problem. So please don't do this. But if you are going to do this, orientation 3. The answer is orientation 3. The way that a fender is going to get force, it is going to be basically hitting this flat surface. On either of these, it's just going to snap, right? It'll be really easy to break because 3D printing is weakest about the Z-axis. So this way would be the safest, but it looks like you're only holding it on with a couple of screws or a couple of holes. Not appropriate. Please don't do this. Further, only 2 wall loops, nowhere near strong enough. Gyroid infill, why are you even bothering with infill? Make it 100% perimeters. Like, give me 20 perimeters. Speeds don't matter. Layer height, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But just no. No, please don't do this. You are ultimately responsible if something falls off of your vehicle, whether it's a car, motorcycle, or whatever, and hits somebody else. You don't want that lawsuit. I think it's valuable for us to talk about it because I know there are people out there that do it. If you happen to be a car designer or car builder and you are utilizing FDM 3D printing for testing and things like that, totally fine, especially if it's like a non-mission critical thing. If it fails, nothing goes wrong, great. Heck, use it in final parts. But don't use a 2-wall loop gyroid infill PETG part as a rear fender for a motorcycle. 3D printing is widely popular in automotive. And if you don't believe me, Koenigsegg. Koenigsegg uses tons of metal 3D printing, and in fact, most of their titanium exhaust is fully 3D printed. It's pretty darn cool, but it's not FDM. It's not FDM. FDM is not designed for this kind of abuse. If you do want to do something that will be like a long-term part that will need to sustain this level of abuse, I would look at using something like a nylon, ASA, and certainly having more than just 2 points of contact. Heck, TPU, TPU is probably the best. TPU would actually be my answer. I am refining my answer to being TPU because TPU is just gonna bend, right? It's gonna flex. It's not going to break like any other plastic could. TPU would be the right part. It's kind of like a mud flap, except it doesn't have those ladies in chrome on it. But it could. Speaking of ladies in chrome, I got nothing for that. My name's Grant. This is 3D Musketeers PrintFixFriday. We help you get your printers back to printing with purpose. If you need help, links are down below. Moving on to very rough surface finish at high infill. This is 100% infill, and even at 95% infill with the gyroid pattern, they still get this. They've had similar results with infill at 100% with monotonic infill. If there is one piece of advice that you actually listen to from these videos, this is it. Stop using 100% infill. It doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's never worked. We don't know why. It's something to do with the way slicers calculate things. Do 9,999 top and bottom layers. That is effectively the same thing, and it will get you a better quality part. Don't use infill. In fact, set infill to 0. Just set it to 0. We don't care about it. All we actually care about, top and bottom layers. Just go with that. We do a lot of dead solid parts for customers. And before you say, but Grant, that's wasteful. I know, I've had these discussions with them. They don't care. They're well aware that it's wasteful. They need the weight. Fine. 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 We have found in all of our testing, doesn't matter the slicer, doesn't matter the printer. For some reason, 100% infill, even close to it, doesn't work very well. Especially if you're using gyroid. Please don't use gyroid. It's just, you're asking for problems when you're doing high amounts of gyroid because your printer's just... It sounds like your mother's bedside table. But the issue... Just do as many top and bottom layers as you can to get the part done. It should look beautiful by the time that's all done. But even though it is brand new PETG, it's not gonna hurt to just toss it into a dryer. I don't care what dryer it is, just put it into a dryer. It's not gonna hurt. Give it overnight, right? Let the printer, turn the printer off, let it think about what it's done. Like you've never done that before, okay? We have a printer timeout area in our shop too. Just let it dry out and then try it again with the updated settings. Life should be good from there. Moving on to why is this sound happening? Well, let's take a listen. The funny thing is, I don't even need to listen to the sound to tell you what's wrong with this. See, all your evidence that you need is right here. You are moving way too fast. Way too fast, and your material's not keeping up, right? We can see that we have disconnected crossing infill. Now, Orca lets you set infill crossing speeds, so you can just slow that down if you really want, but lubing and oiling, it doesn't matter for this. And you're correct, it looks like the nozzle's hitting the infill. It is. Because what's happening is, because you're printing a silk material, silk is a PLA and TPU blend. How do we know that? Because we made silk a couple of years back at Printed Solid. We'll card to it so you guys can take a look. The best way to solve this is just to slow down your infill and increase the temps. Silks like temperature. The more temp you can give silk, the happier it will be. So instead of 210, 215, go 230, go 240 if you're feeling zesty. Really, anything above 250, you're gonna start to run into other problems with it, so keep it under 250 if you can. But otherwise, you can just slow it down. I agree, though, with the top commenter that using adaptive cubic instead of grid is better. Gyroid is fine, too. I don't personally like gyroid. If you're using Orca, you can go crosshatch instead of gyroid. It's better than gyroid. I'm an adaptive cubic fanboy. It is a crossing infill, but if you do slow your infill down, this won't be a problem. My assumption is that they've turned up the speeds on their machine, or they're simply not running enough temperature. You can slow it down, turn up the temps, do one, do both, or do neither and keep dealing with this. It's kind of up to you, I guess. I would bet, even mid-print, if you slowed the print down or increased the temps, this would probably go away. But it is moving very fast. Very, very fast for infill. And you can clearly see it's not connecting. But you might say, but Grant, it's connecting on some of the shorter areas. Yes, because the printer is not getting up to full speed, and the hot end is not cooling down enough as it's trying to force the material through. Next up, is this Prusa Mini printer broken? You're rocking so hard the front fell off. Yes, indeed, Rooney, it is. We need to reprint this back plate. You can even see the broken PETG in here. What they've done is they've tightened their extruder too tight up against this back plate, and yeah, it broke off. Technically, it will still work in this configuration, but it's not a great one. What you can do, if you can't fix it immediately, go ahead and unscrew bolt 1 there and bolt 2 there. There'll be a little, you can see the little PETG part that's still kind of there. You can super glue them back into place, right? Just be careful not to get any on the nuts because you'll need to get those back out, or just get new hardware, that's fine too. And then just reprint that back plate. Alternatively, you can just reprint the back plate and leave this thing flopping in the breeze a little bit. It should work fine. The other thing to note is it does look like you have 2 build plates on the Prusa Mini. Word to the wise, you only want 1 on there. There should only be 1 build plate on there. Still a good printer, in my opinion. I like the Prusa Mini. It's just very expensive for modern day 3D printers at that build volume, but it's a fun little machine, especially back when it was brand new. Last but not least, another rocking so hard the front fell off, except it threw itself out, and it's clean, very clean. This is Time Plast Soap Filament. They are a, let's go with boutique filament manufacturer, and they're known for really weird stuff. Soap filament to glow-in-the-dark soap filament to vanilla soap and clove soap and fire filament. Yes, it's fire. Retro-reflective holographic filament. Plant vitamin filament. There's desiccant filament. Yes, the filament's a desiccant. How about heat conductive, or rodent killer, or insect killer, or the killer combo? They're known for weird stuff, but because they are a boutique manufacturer, they're not running high-end lines like a Prusa line or something like that. And so things can get a little messy. Further, when you're dealing with anything with a fill, I don't care what the fill is, you have to be careful about using a high-flow nozzle and a small diameter nozzle. Because a high-flow nozzle tends to either split the filament or squish the filament. It tends to change the filament path a little bit so it can increase the surface area where the heating can actually get to that filament before it then rejoins to go out the nozzle. If you're dealing with a 0.4, you have a high tendency of that 0.4 getting clogged, or at least one of those channels or areas getting clogged with whatever the heck this filament is made out of. Now, in theory, you put it in water and it should fix itself, but because there's a single piece part that is now in two pieces, you're not going to be fixing that anytime soon, Chief, so it's better to just toss it. There's not much you can do here. If you wanted to keep the parts as like a cabinet of shame, you're welcome to do that, but it is kind of the risk that you take when you're printing with what I would consider experimental materials, right? Anything that says it's soap, it's basically experimental. So Time Blast, if you're watching this, dude, we're like basically in your backyard. We should come over and see how you make the stuff, because I think it'd be pretty cool to show the folks at home how you all make filament, because I'm uniquely curious as to how the dosing is handled for all this cool stuff that you're adding to the filament. And if you guys think that kind of thing is awesome, don't forget to leave a like down below. Have you ever used Time Blast filament before? Does the idea of printing a bar of soap entice you? I don't know, they have so many options, but I've just always been interested in boutique production, because I do think there's a lot of opportunities out there. I'd like to know from you all. And hey, if you are going to Smurf and you are able to help us out, it'd be really great. We need to get a new hot sauce sponsor, and we need to have it in less than a week, because we leave for Manchester like in only a couple of days, which means I've got a lot of work to still finish. But if you have contacts over at Hedonist, aka Hot Ones, we would love to work with them on this to get their sauce featured front and center in a live stream, 2 live streams, in fact, where we are raising money for the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation. Past couple of years, we've abused my outsides, where we shaved off my hair, growing out almost 4 years, raised over $6,000 for charity. And last year was Pie Facer. We made a mess and collected a lot of money for charity. And this year, now we're going to abuse my insides with 5 hot sauces and 1 mystery item for me, and well, as many mystery items as the guest would like, because, well, they can get rid of the heat as long as they replace it with mystery items. And hey, if you're going to be going to Smurf and want to bring some things for that mystery dip, let us know. Reach out to us, email us, youtube@3dmusketeers.com, so we can get you in touch with the people at Smurf, so we can make all this happen. We look forward to seeing you in Manchester if you're going to be there. And if you are, come say hey. We're going to be filming, and if you do want to come hang out on the live stream, you're more than welcome to, but could be subject to some heat. But anyone that does donate $5 more a month to helping make these videos possible, his name is listed next to me as well. But at $10 tier and higher, you get to come hang out in our private Discord server where we do a lot of business, and you actually know exactly why we are looking for a brand new hot sauce sponsor. And you all agree, wasn't my fault. That's all we have for you all today. Make sure to leave a like and get subscribed to stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your lovers. And if you are going to be traveling over to Smurf, travel safe. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.